Hello and welcome to another episode of SHS Today. First up, Sarah Burgess explains the different types of coffee. Next, Charles Kahn shows us people's impulse purchases during the shutdown. Finally, Jack Smith tells us about college's plans to invite new students during the COVID-19 pandemic. All this and more on this 3-5 edition of SHS Today.
Welcome back, Saline, to our socially distant SHS Today studio. It's a new month, which means it's nearing the end of the second trimester. I'm Madison Katke.
And I'm Sarah Burgess. Let's jump right into our show.
Coffee is an essential part of many people's mornings, but there's way more to coffee than you might think. We go to Sarah, who's sitting right next to me, for more on this topic.
To most, coffee is as cut and dry as brew, pour, and drink. But there is a whole other world beyond that. What's the difference between a light roast and a dark roast? French press versus pour over? What even is an espresso? It can all be a little overwhelming at first, so I dove into the deep end, so you don't have to. The most important part of coffee is the method that you use to make it, the most common of which being the French press, the pour over, and of course, the espresso. The method we'll be talking about today is the French press. Out of all the methods that I just mentioned, the French press is by far the easiest to use. This makes it perfect for at-home beginners. I talked to coffee expert Sean from Clive Coffee, all the way in Portland, Oregon, for more information.
You're just pouring hot water onto ground coffee, and then you're letting it steep, kind of like tea, and then you're pushing the plunger down, and then serving.
In general, there is much to love about this simple way of making coffee. But what's in this brew for you?
French press is it has more body to it, and can have more oils.
While the French press method is great, it's not the only way to brew your coffee. Tune in soon to see the inner workings of the pour-over method. Reporting for SHS Today, I'm Sarah Burgess. Back to you in the studio. It was really wonderful to learn so much about my favorite drink. I'm excited to tell you more about the pour-over method soon.
Last week, Saline held our own polar plunge to raise money for the Special Olympics. Raised over $13,000. Outstanding work from the teens involved to achieve that amount of money.
Quarantine was a long time spent alone with nothing other than the internet for company. So it should be no surprise that people were more inclined to shop online during the lockdown. We go to Charles Kahn for more.
As you may know, we have been quarantining for a while now, but now things are getting somewhat better. Over the quarantine, lots of people have been purchasing things from many different websites and some from influencers. According to usatoday.com, says many people purchased the Nintendo Switch, board games, puzzles, and most importantly, toilet paper and hand sanitizer. Today I brought two friends of mine that will talk about what they purchased during quarantine.
I bought a used wall charger with 2 USB outlets and 1 regular wall plug, and then a little dock to hold your phone. I was just in need of a new block for my phone, but one that has 2 USBs and an extra outlet, so I could charge twice as many things and then have another thing plugged into the regular outlet.
Now on to my next friend. What did you get during quarantine?
I purchased a few clothing items from a website called Shein. I saw ads on YouTube and Instagram.
So why did you buy, the clothing from Shein?
I bought them because they're cheap clothes, but they're really cute, and I'm a teenager. I don't have that much money to buy expensive clothes.
So when the clothing came to your house, how did you feel about that?
I was excited because, buy them online and then they come straight to my house. I don't have to go out or anything. Not that I could have.
Well, that was all the time we had for today. This has been Quarantine Purchases. I'm Charles Kahn. Back to you in the studio.
I've certainly been guilty of making a few quarantine purchases myself.
There's no doubt about that. We're finally reaching the final week in the trimester, Saline.
As one last reminder before school ends, take a look at the new exam schedule for this trimester. Study hard and finish out this trimester well.
This is the time of year where seniors are choosing where to attend college, but due to the pandemic, the decision has been made much more difficult. We go to Jack Smith for more.
Going to college is the goal for many high school seniors. The goal usually involves visiting the school that you are interested in. COVID took that option away.
This year we've had to make a lot of different adjustments with our students in terms of college planning, college search. Normally we would have over 100 colleges and universities come in the fall and visit with our kids and ask questions and give them information about things. Obviously they weren't able to come in this year, so we have set up a ton of virtual Zooms for our students to come in and meet with the individual reps from the colleges.
In summer 2019, my family went on a visit to the University of Notre Dame. The visit had everything: students, a tour of the campus, and a full feel for the atmosphere. Fast forward 1 year later, and this is what colleges look like now. But the news is not all bad for high school seniors.
I love the changes to standardized testing requirements. I'm not a big proponent of a 4-hour test and the amount of weight that's given. So I do love the fact this year that a lot of schools have just waived that test. You also find that a lot more schools right now are going to test optional. So students can either choose to send in a test or not, and they can have their application read without a test score on there. So I'm a big proponent of that, and I think it's fantastic.
I hope that our freshman year we can all be together and in person. I'm Jack Smith reporting for SHS Today. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jack.
Well, that's all the time we have this week. Remember to check us out on social media at SHS Today on Twitter and at Saline Video on YouTube and Instagram. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm Madison Katke.
And I'm Sarah Burgess. Tune in next week to learn more about parent petitions, a spicy ramen challenge, and the timeless classic Dungeons & Dragons.
Have a great week, Hornets.